Journey. Thank you for waiting patiently, ma'am. Go ahead.
All right, are you guys able to hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, perfect. All right, so I've never joined a live, but I wanted to join because um, I'm a 45-year-old woman. I'm a therapist, but I'm also a mother of five daughters. And so I have these conversations all the time with my young daughters, with people my age, and also with very little kids because I work with children. And so I see a lot of what is happening. And during my early years in marriage, I experienced a lot of the chaos that you guys are discussing. And what I found is that it came down to the fact that there's very little, if any, parental involvement after children turn 10, 11. After they become autonomous, there's very little parental involvement. And when they start being attracted to one another, dating one another, they do not get guided by a man or a woman as to how to have a healthy relationship, regardless if that person comes from a two-family household or not. However, more than 60% of people do not come from a two-parent household. So we already can identify that most people are being raised by a woman who is hurt, who is broken, who is not protected, who is not provided for, and who has no spiritual guidance from a man. And so what we are experiencing right now is a generation of people that were raised by that person who was surviving. And so I don't think that that deserves to be a man or a woman's issue. I think that it's no point in placing blame on men or women. I think that it's very obvious that both are still operating in survival mode. Women are subjected to, like the gentleman said before, hounding. Well, there could be no hound if there was a father there to do what fathers do, which is protect, and then passes that responsibility on to the husband to protect. So women should not be hounded. Was I hounded? Very much so. And I did not have that. And it's not a choice. It is really something that you do out of survival. And so to understand that women are being hounded, to look at that as a man and to be a silent bystander in that means that there is some culpability, there is some responsibility that you hold as a man, that you are not only standing by, but you're not protecting that woman that obviously needs protection. Women are not prostituting because they want to. Women are not prostituting or having sexual encounters at young ages because they want to. Women are not skipping school with older gentlemen because they want to. That is not something that they're doing because they want to. That's something that they're doing because the situation and circumstances present that multiple times, and they have no other protection. And they have no other way to provide. And so and that's still not me pointing fingers at men. That's just me saying that there's two sides to this coin, and it is not beneficial for us as a people to point fingers at each other and say whose fault it is. It's really to look back at the fact that there's no way that we could even have healthy marriages and healthy relationships, because when have we ever in this country? Let's start right there. We were slaves. We could not marry. They could take you away. There's never been a time when there was healthy relationships. So bantering each other, tearing each other down, pointing out each other's flaws is not anything that we should do. We should look at the current situation and take one step from each gender on what we can do to become more stable as individuals, and then become more stable as an actual partnership. Because the idea that we are going to duplicate what white people consider to be healthy relationships in their country is not feasible, it's not possible, and it doesn't make sense. Because we don't come from a place where women can sit by and get taken care of. That is not where we come from. That is not our opportunity. Every person that I know of foreign descent that is in this country, both the husband and the wife work or have worked at some point in time during their relationship. So it doesn't make sense for us to keep doing that. It makes sense to say is that, hey, listen, at some point we want to be able to raise our children. So maybe perhaps parents should be more involved in the life of their son instead of letting them just run off and do whatever he pleases and come back with a baby. No, maybe perhaps helping him set a foundation to be a responsible young man, to have the most that he could have to actually offer to a woman that, okay, let's get married. Of course, he's going to want to be sexually active. He's going to bring a baby into this world. Let's go ahead and plan for that before, because you know he's going to want to have sex. You know that sex produces children. I mean, come on. And so it's not fair to point the blame at anybody. And it's really silly to think that we can just all of a sudden become something that we've never been. And I just wanted to jump in and say that, because raising all of these daughters, I do have to tell them that, hey, listen, you have to be aware that there's going to be these deficits and these men in this generation, and you're going to have to slow down your dating and not jump into marriage, because you're going to expect him to know things that he doesn't know. And you're going to expect him to do things that he has no opportunity to do. And when you constantly get on a man about doing things he doesn't know how to do, he's going to deflect. And that's not a good, healthy relationship. And so those are the conversations that more parents, since everybody's becoming so woke and everybody's so like, hey, we need to have better families, better marriages, everybody needs to focus on, what do you do before marriage? How do you raise your kids? How do you set that foundation for yourself or for your children now, versus worrying about what's going to happen and who's going to turn who down and who's after what when they're dating? That's silly. That's just silly to me.
Miss Healing Journey, do you agree or disagree with what he said in the audio?
I disagree.
Okay, thank you for sharing everything that you just shared. Please go on mute for me. Ladies, we've just had 3 ladies speak, and all 3 of you did not, like, again, you can say whatever you want to say. Just please start off by saying whether you agree or disagree with what he said, because each of you have went on and talked about stuff that had nothing to do with what he said in the audio. Just please start off your soliloquy by saying whether you agree or disagree with what he said, and then you can say whatever else you want to say. Corey is the only person, the one man that has spoken that has directly addressed what was said in the audio. Let me play the audio again, okay? This is what we are talking about here.
Beautiful black woman syndrome. It's almost a curse, okay?
Agreed.
Exactly. Here's what I'm saying. Number one, y'all date earlier when you look good. Statistics show it. When a black woman is attractive, she's sexualized earlier. She loses her virginity earlier. When you have a beautiful daughter, you got to be on her ass, because the hounds will be. But here's the point that I want to make. Because they're so beautiful, Joe, guess what? When the brothers in college was trying to holler with that wedding ring, oh, no, I look too good for that. Ain't no marriage coming in my 20s.
My options.
Thank you.
I'm
Then
looking
the
for
30s came.
option.
The 30s came. Brothers came with the ring. No, I'm still enjoying this.
You ain't slowing me
Then
down.
she gets 43, 44, 45.
Now I'll take the post.
Now she ready to settle down.
I'll take the post office worker.
Right.
I'll take the
but
post
stay
office
with
worker
me.
now.
And because black men are not dropping at her feet with proposals like they were in her 20s and in her 30s, now she's on YouTube talking about black men ain't shit. They not serious. They don't want to build a family. Time out. You done had about 30 black men who came for your finger in marriage, and you turned them all down because you thought you was too fucking cute to settle down. And now you in your mid-40s, brothers ain't breaking their neck to wedge you out, and now the men ain't shit.
No dish. Listen.
Mal, is that you? Mal, is that you?
Stay here.
Not necessarily.
No, that's her.
Don't say much.
No,
You don't look
no,
the
you
same.
didn't. No,
Okay, she
no,
said it's
no,
not
no,
her.
no.
You don't look the same,
Right.
right?
Well, not necessarily. No, they still look good.
No, they still look
If
good.
you don't put your fucking
Look, they
computer away.
still may look good. You don't look the same. And not just that, that black man now has ascended to the point where he's single and he got the 30-year-olds and the 28-year-olds still checking for him. He 40 now, he got the pick of the litter.
That's true.
He got the pick of the litter
That's true.
now.
But the other thing too,
You're not the commodity
the other
no
thing
more.
too, when you're a black man in your 40s, and you meet a fine ass sister in her 40s, it don't mean nothing wrong with her.
Nope.
But you have to entertain the idea. How did a woman this fine
Slip through the cracks.
She
And,
damaged. She got a bunch of
absolutely.
shit coming to the table with it.
So you automatically a little on defense because you like shit. She bad as shit. Never been married or no kids. Never lived with a man. Like, are you psycho?
What's wrong with you?
Are you married but not telling me?
You not giving them a pound.
You told me to sit down. Shut up.
Stand up, sister. Come on.
Yeah, please, Queen. Dap him up now, Queen. Read your ass. Leave my sister alone. Leave my sister alone. Leave my sister alone. Not too much on Mel. I want to hear her rebuttal.
There is no rebuttal.
Okay, again, everyone just please start off, and it's not white and black, so you don't have to 100% agree. You don't have to 100% disagree. You can agree with some, you can disagree with some, you can agree with all, you can disagree with all. Just please, before you get into whatever you're going to say, just let everyone know where you stand. Yes, thank you for waiting patiently, love. I hope you're doing well. What do you have to say on this?
Hi, hope you're doing well as well. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, so I agree to a certain extent. There's a lot of things that he said that I'm just a bit like, I'm not too sure about that. So for example, he must have stated how it's black women, right? So first things first, I think it's a everyone thing. It's definitely not just a black woman thing with their age increasing and less marriages happening. Overall in society, the marriage age is getting higher. It's not a black woman thing. For whites as well, it's happening. Do you know what I'm saying? It's not just a black woman thing and that they desire a marriage at a higher age. That's not what it is. On top of that, women crave security, right? Unfortunately, when you're the ages of 20, in your early 20s, yeah, you look your best and you're in your prime, 100%. But is it a marriage that you want straight away? No, you got to finish education. You got to do a couple of other things. You're building on yourself at a time where you are financially stable to want to look for a husband and so on, right? I don't feel like you're in the ages of 20 anymore. You might be 28, 29, 30 reaching now. So it definitely sorry, my voice is going. It definitely doesn't mean that there's something wrong with her. It's just maybe she hasn't found her person, her match. But yet again, it's natural instincts for a man to want to question, is there something wrong with her? It's natural. For example, if I meet a guy and, he's not in my age, and women tend to like men that are a lot older, well, me personally, I can't say women, tend to like people that are older, I'm going to question, wait, he's got 4 or 5 years on me. Why hasn't he found a woman that's his age group? Why don't the women his age group want him? Do you know what I'm saying? It's natural for men to have these questions in their head. So in terms of what he's saying, I think there's some truth to it, 100%. But yet again, I still feel like he's focusing too much on the black woman, and it's not just the black woman thing. It's everyone. Everyone's trying to build later on in life because they want security. And unfortunately, men at that age, they're not there to provide that security, especially financial security. Men at that age, at 20 something, they don't have that. So if they come to you with a ring, you can't just take the ring blindly.
Right.
You gotta know he's stable. Is he able to be a good father for my kids? Is he able to be a good husband? At that age, mentally, we're all not there yet. So it's not the right time to take the ring. So maybe later on in life, when she balls on herself and she realizes exactly what it is that she wants, then that's the right time. So I don't think it's a black woman thing. It's everyone. That's all it is.
Okay, yeah. So, I know you're in a relationship, and I know you're in a relationship with a man that's older than you. I think you're in a relationship with a man that's damn near my age. But I just heard you say that, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think I just heard you say that, when you see, I don't know, a man in his mid 30s moving to a woman in her mid 20s or something like that, that you kind of raise your eyebrows. So
Yep.
I just want to know, where do you stand on age gap dating? Are you with it, or are you against it?
I think
And let me really quick. The reason that I asked is because I kind of respectfully, I kind of found when you were talking about that to be kind of contradictory, because like you said, like I've told you before, like I've said plenty of times, many men in their mid 20s are not fit to be married. They're not spiritually fit to be married. They're not financially fit to be married. They're not emotionally fit to be married. They're not mature wise to be married. Like you said, as a woman, and I've said this plenty of times, as a woman, when it comes to you choosing a man to spend the rest of your life with, it should be about a lot more than his ability to put a smile on your face, bring butterflies to your stomach, and his
100%.
ability to dick you down. It should be about his, can this man provide for me? Can this man, provide for a family? Is this man financially stable? Does this man have good credit? Does this man have a career? Does he have a certain track history of certain things? Does he have certain things in order? Those are the things that women should be prioritizing. So again, most men in their early and mid 20s cannot do that for a woman of their age. So I have always said, and I stand on this, when a woman is looking to get married, especially if she is in her mid 20s or late 20s, for the most part, she should be looking to date older men. And because I know you're in the UK, but yeah, as I've told you this, a lot of black women in America, American black women say they are not going to build with men. Again, they say have seen everything that their mothers and their aunties and their grandmothers have went through. They are the one group of women in this country that don't believe in building with a man. So when you don't build with this man, and this man gets to a certain stature in life, and you weren't like a early investor in the company, you're not about to come in now and get to reap all the benefits when this company is established. So, and I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna close. So, like Dr. Umar and the men were saying in the audio, there's a lot of older women that be like trying to like age shame men that are their age, women in their mid 30s to early 40s. They try to age shame these men and make it seem like it's a problem for them dating younger women. But these were the same women that when they were in their early mid 20s, they were dating older men. They were reaping the benefits that these older men were able to provide and do for them. But now when they're aged out the game and these men don't want to deal with them anymore, it's a problem. And then the last thing I'm going to say is an older man, we keep using the word old, but most men in their, I'll say like mid 30s to early 40s, if he's childless and he's looking to start a family, he's probably not going to be looking to start a family with a woman that's in her mid 30s. Yes, he probably is going to want to try to start a family with a woman that's in her mid to late 20s, if he can. Early 30s, the latest. But so I want to hear what you have to say about age gap dating, because I feel you kind of contradicted yourself with that.
No, so I think, you know what, I think maybe we're misunderstanding it with
Okay.
each other here, yeah, because I hear your point, and to be fair, I was on the same wave of what you were saying as well.
Okay.
Men are not established at that age. So for me, personally, I'm 23, right? My
Right.
partner is 28.
Right.
So
Your
there's
partner
like,
is older than me. He's 2 years older than me.
yeah, exactly. But the reason why we work very well, right, is because he's able to provide what I think is manly chores. Does that make sense? So everything that I feel like a man needs to do, he knows to do that, and he's comfortable in doing that, you know? So it's, to be fair, it's even rare to see men at 28 so financially free anyways. So
Right.
someone might go for older men knowing that they will have less struggle with an older man because he's financially put together.
Right.
In terms of everything, in terms of like him and experience, like just everything in general,
Right.
nurturing to a woman's emotional needs and so on. But when, I mean, the age gap conversation, I'm for it, I'll be honest. I think that there's nothing wrong with going for someone that's 10 years older than you. Obviously, depending on your age, you can't be 17 going for a man that's 27. I think that's a bit wrong. But when you're at the 20s and you go for a man that's older than you, there's nothing wrong with that. And there's nothing wrong with a man wanting a younger woman either, at
Right.
all. Because if we want older men, why can't older men want younger women? There's nothing
Right.
wrong with that. We crave the financial stability part. They crave beauty, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
Right. So as a woman that is, and I want to say this before I ask you this question. As someone that has a career, as someone that is well off, like financially myself, like very well off, overly well off, like blessed tenfold. I want to say that, and I'm sure you'll agree with me on this. Like, men that are in their mid 20s and even late 20s for that matter, but I'm in my mid 20s, especially mid 20s. when you do have a certain, like, financial stability and sort of a level of financial freedom, and you have options when it comes to women, most of those young men aren't even of the mindset to want to settle down. Do you agree or disagree with that? Yes.
Say that again. Cut off there.
What'd you say?
Kind of cut off. Can you say that again, please?
Yeah, I said most men in their mid 20s that are have a certain level of financial stability and financial freedom, most of them are not really interested in settling down and actually want to play the field because of all the options that they have and because they're not on a biological time clock. Do you agree or do
Oh,
you agree or
I
disagree
agree.
for the most part?
I totally agree with you.
Right.
That's the same with women as well. When they know that they are in their prime in terms of beauty, they don't really want to settle down either, because
Right.
they know that they've got the options of picking number one or number two or number three. Like, they know that they are the prime right about now. So why would they want to settle? It's
Right.
the same, really.
But that's what the video spoke about. The women, when they're young and beautiful, they choose to play games and not accept the ring. Did you
Right.
not
Yeah,
hear what the video
that's
said?
no, but that's why I agreed with it. If you heard me correctly, I agreed with his concept. I didn't agree with the concept of him saying black women. It's a woman thing in general. It's not about color.
So this is a question that I have for you, yeah, as a 23-year-old, because I've spoken to plenty of older women, and when I say older, mid 30s to early 40s and even mid 40s. And even last week I was talking to a friend of mine on here, and I was telling her that there are a lot of older women that they have resentment towards men that are their age, but a lot of them honestly have resentment towards the younger women as well, because they're at an age now where the men of their age that they desire don't desire them. They desire the younger, beautiful, more youthful women. And the woman in there were telling me that I didn't know what I was talking about. A lot. They like to say hit dogs holler, and if it don't apply, let it fly. A lot of those women were hollering. So, like you just said, as a 23-year-old, you don't see the problem of older men wanting younger women when younger women want the stability that older men provide. What do you think is to be said? What do you think is to be said about the older women that age shame men that are their age for dating younger women? What do you think is behind that?
I think that's wrong. Personally, I think that's very, very wrong, because you should not be age shaming anyone to begin with. When it's done to a woman, women get very defensive about it. So when it's done to a man, men should rightfully act the same way. I feel like, guys, I know I'm gonna get slaughtered for this.
Don't worry about them. Yeah, say what you want to
I
say.
feel like women, we want privilege. We don't want equality, we want privilege. And when I say this, I mean, we say that we want this and we want that, right? But when the men hold us accountable to it, sometimes we kind of backtrack and we say, oh no, but I'm a woman, it's different. Like, for example, the woman being 45 looking for a man her age, right? She needs to understand that a lot of men her age are not going to want her.
Right.
And that's a life decision that she kind of understands, actually. And it's not just the men don't want her, it's also a thing of her being picky. Like, the older you get, the pickier you get. Your priorities are more aligned, you get more picky. You're not gonna settle with someone like a bum at the age of 45, maybe, that you was willing to settle with at the age of 20, if that makes sense. So the older you get as a woman, the more pickier you get. Men, the older they get, they don't really get so picky anymore. It's a whatever they can grab.
No, but you
I get.
and Miss A, I'm coming to you, and Ash, I'm gonna bring you up in a second. I want to say one more thing, and I want to hear your opinion on this. Yes,
Mhm.
you talk about men not being as picky. And you and I have talked about this. The more accomplished, the more successful, the more established a man becomes when he starts getting, especially if he has notoriety and whatever it is that he does or he's doing, his dating options open up. Correct?
100%.
With for women, the more, and you and I have talked about this as well. So if I say that majority of women want to date across and up, so they want to date a man that at the very least they feel is on their level, but they prefer to date a man that they feel is on a level higher than them, especially socioeconomically. Do you agree with that?
Oh, yep.
Okay. So the more accomplished and established and successful a woman becomes, with women's standards being the way they are, does her dating pool increase or does it decrease?
It decreases.
Okay, and another thing that a lot of older men say, and I talk to women that are in there. I talk to women all the way up, like I talk to women in their mid 40s. I even talked to Miss Paula. Miss Paula turned 50 this year. I be talking to some of these women, even in their mid 30s, Jazz. And you know, when you hear these men on these platforms, and even in real life, when you talk to men that are in their 30s and 40s, things of that nature, another reason that they are interested and want to date younger women is because of all the emotional damage that these women in their 30s and 40s have experienced.
Hmm.
All the heartbreak, the bad choices in men that they've made that they don't want to take accountability for, the emotional damage. I'd be talking to some of these women, Yaz, and I'd be like, "Do you realize that what you're saying to me right now? Do you realize that you're literally being the exact woman that these men talk about?"
Yeah. You're right in that, but then I also think it's sometimes it's not all to do with emotional damage. I feel like sometimes younger women were more naive, and sometimes men use that to their advantage, whereby they know that a younger woman is more naive, and if he's making false hopes and promises, for example, if he says, you know what, for your birthday I'm going to get you a car, a younger woman, right, a naive woman, when it doesn't pull through, she's going to be like, you know what, maybe he's having other problems, and she's going to try and make up excuses for him. An older woman will be like, you made your word a promise and you didn't pull through with it. So that is a red flag for them straight away. A naive woman, a younger woman in general, would make excuses for him. So I
Okay,
don't
yeah.
think it,
Okay, this
yeah.
is the last thing I'm gonna say. Then I'm gonna go to you, Miss A. And Ash, I'm gonna bring you up, Ash, request. Um, Yes, I'm not going to be disingenuous. I'm not going to say that there aren't older men that, prey on younger women. I'm not going to be disingenuous and say that there aren't men that prey on emotionally vulnerable women. But I think personally, this is just my personal opinion. I think a lot of women, when you talk about being naive and young and dumb, a lot of the things that women like to say, I really think that's a cop out for a lot of women. I think a lot of women really do be knowing better and just choosing not to do better
Oh,
because again
100%.
they are in their prime, and biology and they talk about father mother nature all the time, or father nature. I think mother nature be beating them to the punch. I think the whole, oh, I was young and dumb and naive and I was taken advantage of, it's just a cop out to not take accountability for the decisions that a lot of them made. That's how I honestly feel.
I agree. I agree, and that's the reason why a lot of the time we be having a lot of women shaming their baby dads, talking about, oh yeah, he's a deadbeat and he's this, but
You slept
and
with
they
him.
say, pardon? I say,
Yeah, but it's like you slept with him. You
yeah,
conceived a
yeah,
child with him.
100% take accountability, because you wasn't calling him a deadbeat when you were sleeping with him.
Right.
He wasn't anything. He wasn't a psycho or anything along them lines when you was having kids with him.
Right.
But now that he's out of your life and he doesn't want to cater to the kids, he's a deadbeat. But did you
Right.
not get this deadbeat personality, this deadbeat vibes prior to you popping out his kids?
Right. Exactly, yes. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you. Please go on mute for me. Melanated Nectar. Thank you for being up here, man. Did you want to say any last words? I'm going to drop you and bring another woman up. And then we're gonna go to you, Miss A.
I'm just in here reading the comments, and I just feel like there is no accountability whatsoever. Like, for men in these comments, y'all are hilarious. To settle down at 45 is wild. That's not wild, because most people ain't even mentally mature to settle down, but y'all out here popping out kids. Like, make it make sense. Like, I'm done with this conversation. Thank y'all. Have a wonderful evening.
All right, thank you. I appreciate you. Have a good evening.